Then we're going to read the same page twice. Thank goodness Duncan's broadcasting us live across the world. It's just like,
well, recording. Well, yeah, I guess it's, it's actually alive. You're right.
We're streaming live across the world. That's just like,
Streaming
we're better
live.
than Saturday Night Live. Look out. Here comes Finnegans Wake. Okay. Duncan, you ready?
I'm ready. Okay. Rockbound. Hoa, hoa, hoa. And swim, swam, swum, and all the living night long. The dale dappling night, the night of blue bells.
Her flit-a-flute in tricky trochees. Oh, Karina, wake him. With her Essivans and her Patterjack Martins about all.
Then in the houses, telling a tale of a tomb, telling a tale of theory, 30 tumbling, grace before glutton, for what we are gifts.
A gross if we are about to believe. So pull the bag and pass the kish for cross-sake, amen. So sigh us. Grandpapus is fallen down.
But Grinny spreads the board, weighs on the joint of a dash. Fin fo fum the fush. Waspy he bacon head, a loaf of sing pan.
Treya, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Treya.
Failed. Okay, let me try again. Okay. Kenny bread and ways hitched to the hop in his tail. A glass of Danu, you Dunnels, Bomus, oldie Dublin ale, but
I'm next, but what line?
Low as you.
13.
Lo, as you would quaff off his fraud stuff and sink teeth through that pith of a flower white bodie, behold of him as behemoth, for
is no Wimo, finish, only a photograph of a yestern scene, almost Rubicon Salmo Solar, ancient from out the ages of the Ag.
Apenomides, he is smolten in our midst, woe becanned and packed away. So that meal's dead off for someone, schluck, schleiss, and
Gudrid hearing. Yet may we not see still the Bronxwang form outlined.
Slumbered even.
Oh, sorry.
Slumbered even in our nighttime by the sedge of the troutling stream that Bronto loved and Bronto has a lien on. Hic cubat edilis.
Bruce, your volume's off.
Yeah, you're
garbled, Bruce.
Your voice is really garbled. Maybe try raising your local your voice level or something.
You sound underwater.
Well, we don't.
You know what, Bruce? I would say go out and come back in, maybe, or rebooting sometimes fixes it, or jiggle the cable. I'm not sure, but we can't even hear. We can just hear.
Yeah, it's very garbled.
Jerry, I can step in because I was skipped over. So I was supposed
we're gonna fix the order. Heather jumped out of order and then
no, I didn't. I thought I was supposed to go after Brandon.
I think it's because I'm listed in there twice.
I was supposed to go after Penny. So I'm I'm confused.
We're gonna
Yeah,
fix
so this is a test to get you ready to read.
Wait,
Finnegans
look at,
Wake.
we're gonna fix it. Ignore the second Brandon.
Okay,
What
sorry.
we'll do is go Joseph, Penny, Tamar, Jack, Bruce, and then Heather.
Okay, so I got skipped over. So why don't I just,
You're gonna go after Penny. We're gonna
yeah,
go.
I know Penny already read. Right?
You didn't want to miss her turn.
Okay.
Why don't you read in Bruce's place this time?
All right, but now
Okay.
And then get back in line next time.
good. So, except where are we?
23.
I don't have page numbers. What was the line? What is
It's
the
the
line?
line 23.
I don't have page numbers. I mean, page
No,
lines.
doesn't have
read
line
the
numbers.
beginning of the line is what
Just
you
read
have.
the first word.
Edulus, apud.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So, Edulus, apud libertanum parvulum. What if she be in flags or flitters, reeky rags, or sundietcheses, with the mint of mines, or beggar a
Pennyweight, are sure we all love little Annie Rooney, or we mean to say love little Annie Rainey, when under her umbrella mid.
Try Bruce again now, Bruce. Mid piddle.
no.
No, sorry.
Still not hearing you, Bruce, but we gotta somehow fix it. Maybe
That's funny.
switch your
Piddle-
device,
piddle-
Bruce. You can switch to a cell phone or an iPad. Maybe it's the device, or maybe it's just your server's reception's bad. But sorry, we can't hear you, but we need to hear you, so keep trying. Okay, so now we're gonna go back to Heather.
Oh.
So now we're gonna follow the last chat reading list. Oh, Duncan fixed it. Okay, so if you look at the chat, that's the reading list we're gonna use, and we're gonna go from Heather to Jerry back to Duncan.
Okay. And so I would be Pennyweight. Is that where I start?
Good.
Okay. that's
Pennyweight.
fine.
All right, sure. We all love little. Oh, we did that, Annie.
We did
Rooney.
that. We just did that one.
Okay. Or we mean to say, love little Anna Rainey. Why under her umbrella, mid piddle, med poodle, she ninny goes, nanny goes, nancing by, yo.
Rotolone slaps your snores. Upon Ben Heather and steeple Isat too. The crannock head on him, caster of his reasons, peer you.
Sterner in yon mist. Booth his clay feet, swarded in verdigras. Stick up stark where he last fellowed them by the mund of the maga.
Zine wall, where our Maggie seen all, with her sister in shawl, while over against this Bell's alliance beyond ill 60, oh lo,
Love you, backsides of the fort. Boom, tada boom. Lark ambushes the side of the living in way of Abto and Hawk.
Hence, when the clouds roll by, Jamie, a proud's eye view is rockbound. Hoa, 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 in swim, swam, swum, and all the livy.
Long night, the Dale Dalbling night, the night of bluery bells, her flute in tricky trochees. Oh, Karina, wake him.
Trey, unmute.
Next, please. I lost my way.
Okay. Peter.
That's 6. With her Esivans, and her Patterjack Martins about all them ins and oses, tilling a teal of a tum, telling a toll of a tea.
Okay.
Turdy, tobbling, grace before glutton, for what we are, GIFs grows.
Give me just a moment. I have to say goodbye to these people.
Okay, zoom in.
Okay, Brandon, you might want to turn your volume up because we're hearing you very low. If
Turn
you
mine
can,
up?
yeah, if you can turn your volume up or lean into your microphone a little.
You can do that. Yeah. Should I
That's
finish?
better.
Is this better?
Yes.
It's better if you speak loud and lean in. Yeah.
I'll enunciate. Anyway, a gross if we are about to believe, so pool the beg and pass the
Joseph.
I lost my place.
The kish for cross sake.
Omen. Socius. Grandpapas is fallen down, but Goonie spreads the board. Place on the joint of a dish. Fin.
Fin for thumb the fush. West be his bacon head, a loaf of singpan. Singpan tree, Kennedy's bread, and waist hitched to the hop in his tailor.
A
What?
glass Danu O'Donnell's famous old Dublin ale. But lo, as you would quaff off his broad stuff and sink teeth through.
That height of a flower white body, behold of him as behemoth, for he is no wee mo, finish, only a photograph of a yestern scene.
Almost Rubicon Salma Salar, ancient from out the ages of Agapimodes. She is smolten in our midst, woe becanned and packed.
Away so that meal's dead for Suman, Schlock, Schleiss, and good ridden hearing. Before we go back to Duncan, who's not there, let's ask Bruce, can you talk now? Boy, we still can't hear you. It's still muffled. Sorry. Okay, so I will be listening in. Sorry, the audio is in and wobbly. Okay, Bruce, we're glad you're listening in and we'll miss your input. Okay, so now we're going to go from Duncan to Janice, yet may.
Yet may we not see still the Bronto Iphigan form, outlined aslumbered, even in our own nighttime, by the sedge of the trout.
Link stream that Bronco loved and Bronto has a lien on. Hic cubit edilis, apud libertinum parvulum. What if be in flags of flitters?
Reeky rags or Sunday chosies, with a mint of mines or beggar a pennyweight. Arrah, sure, we all love little Annie Rooney, or we.
Mean to say, love little Anna Rainey, when under her brella mid med puddle, she nanny goes nancing by, yo.
Treya, you want to read?
Next, please.
Okay, and then we got Peter.
Just a sec. Are we on page 7 or 8? I mean,
we're
Seven.
staying on page 7. We read one page twice through.
oh, that I went to page 8. That's why I'm.
That
If
would
you
have
want to
been
go to page 7, line 28, Brontolone. Brontolone
Just keep going,
slaps,
please.
Yo snores, upon Ben Heather, in Seepolicet too, the cranic head on him, caster of his reasons, peer you.
Nur in yond mist. Oof. His clay feet, guarded in vertigrass, stick up stark where he last fell on him by the mund of the Maga.
Joseph.
Zine wall, where our Maggie seen all, with a sister in shawl, while over against the spells alliance behind ill 60 all old.
Loed, ill, bagsides of the fort, bomb, terrabomb, lurk the
ambushes, the sight of the lifting in weight of the upjock and hot. Hence, when the clouds roll by, Jamie, a proud eye view is.
Yay, we did
Bravo,
it.
bravo.
Is Mercury in retrograde yet?
If it wasn't before, it is now.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the big thing is that line 246 ends with GIFs. Now, isn't a GIF some computer term?
A GIF.
A
Yeah,
GIF.
yeah.
GIF.
It's kind of
Yeah.
a moving image or an image. I don't know how you.
JPEG, like a JPEG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're
Like
removed.
a visual
It's
meme.
different than a JPEG,
The
but
clip,
anyway,
a
yeah,
little clip.
there are images, little images. Usually, you attach them to texts or posts on Facebook, or they're one-liners.
Well, it's sort of like
Weird gestures and clips from movies or TV.
Clips from movies. So we were like
Anime.
caught in Robert Altman movie out of lip sync there for a while, and we were staring at our GIFs on our Hollywood squares right here in Zoom City. So since we don't have Bruce to summarize where in the heck we are in the book, Duncan and I were talking before we started, and he thought that the first 7 pages of the Wake approximately have some sort of summary going. And one time I met these people, this 30 years ago, and they said the Wake doesn't start until page 30. So there's 30 pages of text before the story starts. Go ahead, Peter.
Well, that's very common in classical text that you have a priordium where you name the place and conceivably list the dramatis personae before you begin the story. And we have been seeing since the first line on page 3 that, we've been in these environs, and now we're naming some different people that are here with us in this place.
It's good. Anybody else want to feel they're capable of summing up the page we just read? Go ahead, Jack. What do you know?
Well, we're eating lunch or dinner. We are mentioning a lot of fish. We're mentioning musical instruments. A lot of Latin in here, by the way. The very first line I love, swim, swam, swum. That's a declension of a Latin noun, which I really, really like. And I think
What Latin?
yeah, amo masamat.
Yeah.
Well,
and in the same line,
sorry.
Yeah, and in the same line, Jack, you have Livy, who is a Latin writer of natural history.
Yeah,
and so he would be the one that a school child learning Latin would also simultaneously learn about the various animals that were known in the Latin world.
There you go.
Also on this page, there are a couple of biblical animals, Leviathan and Behemoth.
And what? Leviathan and what?
Behemoth.
Behemoth.
Oh, yeah, Behemoth.
But we have Livy in that line is also Ana Livia Plurbel.
Yeah. Okay, all the way from Brazil, Decio, what do you got to add?
As a giant, Fimaku fall down and is spread over the terrain. His head is holds promontory, and his foot are on shepherd's art.
Very good. Okay.
What is it? I didn't quite understand what he was saying.
Hold on, Decio, say it again, and then Denise, whatever you got.
As a giant, Fimaku fall down from the...
A giant Fimaku?
Yes, a giant.
Finnegans.
Oh, okay.
Is in the mythology, no?
Yeah.
And his body is spread out from Holt's Hill. His head in Holt's Hill, and his feet are in Shepherd's art.
His feet are in what?
His feet are in Shepherd's art.
Yeah, Janice, can you see a map of Dublin, Janice? If you would, you would see below Phoenix Park, there's a neighborhood, Chapel Izod,
Oh.
and that's in the west. And as you go across downtown through along the river Liffey. You go out the port, and just above the port to the north is an island promontory peninsula, Hoth.
Hoth, yeah. And the river
Go ahead.
goes, the river goes around his body is the Liffey. So his Alp is what his wife. There is reference to his wife in this page also. EOP.
And Hoth is where Molly Bloom and well,
Yes, the rhododendrons
had
and so on.
consummated their
Yes,
relationship.
yes.
And also Joyce and I'm losing her. Nora had a tryst up on Hoth Head.
On Hoth? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's the big deal is that Nora gave Joyce Head on June 14th. That's when Bloom Day takes place.
Oh,
I heard it as a hand
didn't
job,
know that
but
their first
who's gonna
sale.
kill?
Where's Hope on this page?
It's on the East Coast.
No, on
I'm
the
on
page.
page 7. Where is it? Where they talk about
Rockbound in the first word is rockbound, is Hoth.
The
And there
word
are
after rockbound.
Oh, hoa.
It's a reference to Hoth if you use your imagination.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Denise.
I was just struck by all this mythology and biblical references, but there's also reference to like bread, Kennedy bread. Is that a bakery? And there's also
bakery.
the famous Dublin ale, the Dana O'Donnell's. Like there's very local sort of references as far as, and Bronte's stream and the one that, did he know the family Bronte? Does he?
They had
The
Irish
writers?
connections. They had Irish connections apparently.
Got it.
And in line 28, there's upon Ben Heather. Ben Heather is also Hoth in Gaelic.
And I love the idea of the bread because on Hoth, Molly and Bloom, they share this spit-soaked piece of seed cake.
That's
right. So the bread makes sense.
Yes. Go ahead, Jack.
Whenever Joyce mentions bread, you always have to start thinking about the host in the Catholic Mass. So be careful with that one also.
And
the bread in the episode in Ulysses where the bread box is thrown at him. That's the Pix, I think, where the host is maintained.
Yeah, and if you were raised Catholic like I was, a host, we practiced with Necco wafers.
Well, they probably taste a lot better.
Yeah, I would think.
And then,
well, peanut butter would be good.
If you saw Shane MacGowan's funeral, the lead singer of the Pogues who died, and they had a huge funeral service. You can watch it on YouTube. The priest in the big cathedral's holding up Finnegans Wake like he's holding up a host. I mean, there's a shot online. You can see it's an amazing shot.
Excellent.
So the last line, the last word of the first line, livey long, could have been live long, night. And then anybody else on Deltail Tapling Night, the night of bluery bells. Go ahead, Jack.
Yeah, this is one of the things I absolutely love about the wake. It's the Dear Dirty Dublin theme, and we're seeing it here. The Dale Dappling Night. That's a kind of an echo of Dear Dirty Dublin. Anything with 3 D's in it makes me laugh.
And what is Dear
Well, it's a phrase. I'm not sure if Joyce came up with that phrase, but he uses that. I mean, I can understand. It's this guy who's been an expat for so long really still loves this city. Dear Dirty Dublin. I don't think it was a Joyce phrase originally. I think he stole it from somebody else.
Yeah, Bruce used the chat. Hold on, Peter. If everybody wants to read in the chat, Bruce just added, this is the wake of Finnegan, portrayed as the Last Supper in which Christ offers his body and blood as bread and wine, except the body disappears. He's no way Mo.
Oh, that's right.
That's good. Okay, Peter, who?
Well, I just wanted to follow up what Denise was saying about the local things, but they're not just local names of breads, they're brands. And so while it's not product placement in the sense that Joyce got anything out of it, it is like Joyce when he would grill current Dublin residents about which shops are now on what streets when he would meet them 20 years later in Paris. He wanted to be accurate about that. And then as far as what Bruce was saying, or rather what Jack was saying about Dirty Dublin, I think that you're absolutely right. That is Dirty Dublin. But the song Dirty Old Town that many people sing in Dublin bars and that the Pogues had a great rendition of was actually written about a different dirty old town, conceivably Manchester or Leeds, or some industrial city in England that had Irish residents in it.
Very good, Peter.
Well done.
If you haven't listened to Dirty Old Town by the Pogues, go listen to it. It was one of Frank Zappa's favorite songs. And they are quite an amazing band, the Pogues. They really got over playing punk music, but it was really traditional Irish music.
You know where I thought Peter, you can help me with this one. The Pogue may be a play on the Irish phrase "Pogue my hogue," which means "kiss my ass."
Yeah, it's definitely it's a direct reference to that. And so for a while there, I mean, they were folk, but they were punk folk, and they didn't get radio play on RTE because their title, even though it's the Kiss part, included a nasty reference. But Dirty Old Town was written in 45, and the Pogues were just doing a cover, although probably the best known cover.
And also it's an amazing phenomenon because they were taking the tradition of singing songs in a pub, which you do in Ireland, and they were doing that. That's like U2, excuse me, they're corporate rock to the max. They did the same things. They wanted to be the Ramones and they became superstars. The Pogues were doing really authentic Irish music with punk energy, and the hardcore oldies in the music, they hated the Pogues. And then in the long run, who was more authentic is the Pogues. And they, their lead singer won't die, but he drinks like he's a horrible alcoholic for 40 years. It's a long story, but in the long run, when he dies, the whole country freaks out. It's like JFK or, somebody dying, and they have parades in Dublin. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube. And his wife gives this amazing talk. Shane MacGowan's wife gave this amazing talk. It's worth seeing. And they celebrate him as a real folk hero in Ireland.
Didn't they give a tribute to him and he was like in a wheelchair and everything right before he died?
That's what I was leading to, Heather, is that then I recommend you go get the movie Crock of Gold. A really good filmmaker made a documentary on him, and the whole thing, Shane is like drooling out of his wheelchair and he can't hardly talk, but everybody still loves him. Bob Dylan, Bruce Springsteen, everybody thinks he's one of the greatest songwriters of all time. But the key Joyce connection is in the middle of this documentary, you see the only film footage of James Joyce, and it's placed in the film so well. You see how important Joyce was in the Pogues' career of spreading Irish music. There you go, Julian Temple. Yeah. Crock of Gold. It's really worth seeing, and especially because if you like Joyce.
And it was so soon after Sinead's death that
the
two got paired together.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. That had it not been for Sinead's death, very untimely, the somewhat long anticipated death of Shane MacGowan would not have been as widely celebrated.
Yeah.
I think, and it was just this past summer. And so And Springsteen was in town in, say, May, and he kind of went on a pilgrimage to see Shane MacGowan. And it was one of those things like last chance to see him before he goes.
Yeah.
So Dublin or Ireland didn't really like him at the beginning. He was
No, the old traditional Irish musicians didn't like the Pogues because they were just, it was just like like British people didn't like the Sex Pistols, and most
They were punk. They
yeah,
weren't
they're
supposed to
punk,
be
and
like.
they're supposed to hate punks.
Well, that's kind of like Joyce, he was not very well
He wasn't
liked
punk.
while he was
Totally,
alive and living in
totally.
England and even living overseas, and then he died and his books are lauded, and he's now Ireland's, a bard.
Patron saint.
And they
Right.
still
Right.
they still want his body back now.
Yeah.
They,
And
they
it's
do?
like,
They really?
Yeah.
When I went to Martello Tower, the people taking care of it made me like decide, shouldn't we bring the body back? And I'm like, no, he didn't want to come back. No. Honor his wishes.
yeah.
Huh.
But also, the Brando in the Wild One, the movie, they go,
Yes.
what are you rebelling against? And he goes, what do you got?
What you got? I love that.
Okay, so now we're on page 3. Isn't that well, no, ocarina. There you got a musical instrument.
Oh, yeah.
What's the tricky trochees before that? Anybody?
Crochet is French, but I don't remember what it
A
is.
trochee is a metrical foot.
Oh.
Do.
Short, short, long. Opposite of an I am.
Right.
In line 2, we have OP, Doppling. We have OP, ALP.
ALP, yeah.
Yeah.
So those of you who are newer, you look for the letters ALP. That's Anna Olivia Pluribel, the female protagonist, and you look for the letters HCE. Here Comes Everybody. That's the male protagonist. So he just lays this throughout. So you can find, like there in the middle of a word, ALP.
Okay. Night of Pluribels is Anna Olivia Pluribel.
Right. There
Line
you go.
2.
Line 2, exactly. So now we're on
Karina is an old folk tune, I think, and I think Dylan
sang it. Yeah.
But there's another Karina by the Grateful Dead that they wrote, and it's got Wakean lyrics, which just killed me. I love it. It's a great song. Karina. So if you haven't listened to that, if you're a Dead fan, Karina.
The Dead were definitely into the Wake. They used to play Joseph Campbell tapes and McLuhan tapes in between their sets.
The Dead were into the Wake. I love
yeah. The Dead were into the Wake. There's more. Okay, now you got line 4. Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, literally, though, the reason it's the name of several songs is it's an endearment for a girl in Italian.
Yeah.
It's like a dear one, but feminine dear one.
Right.
Karina.
Yep.
Lovely.
Excellent.
Then we got line 4, Essabands, and the Patter Jack Martins. Anybody?
2 girls and 3 soldiers. 2 girls and 3 soldiers. Isavan is Isa or Vanessa.
Oh,
and
Issy.
Issa. And Peter, Jack, and Martin. Peter is Catholic. Jack is Calvinist. Martin is Protestant. Martin Luther King. So we have the 3 soldiers and the 2 girls. Recurrent. Yeah.
Very good. So that's their characters in Swift's Tale of a Tub, it says in. So then you got in the next line, Tale of a Tum. That's maybe a reference to Tale of a Tub, a book by Jonathan Swift.
Who is an Anglo-Irishman.
There you go.
Look at all the alliteration in that line, by the way.
Telling a toll of titty-turty toppings. That's good. So we got ins and outs, at the beginning of that line. Then alliterations up the yin yang. Then we got grace before glutton.
Grace before meals.
Peter.
Yeah, grace before the beef, before the mutton.
Mm-hmm.
Or pearls before swine.
There you go.
And Teary Turdy Tobbling is also Dear Dirty Dublin all over again.
Very good. For what we are, gifts a gross as we are.
That's the grace for what we are about to receive. May we be thankful.
That's good. Right. Lots of prayers in Finnegans Wake in rewording. Okay, then we got so pull the beg and pass the kish for cross sake.
Pool beg. Peter, can you explain pool beg?
Pull the beg. I don't know.
Pool beg is a lighthouse in the entrance of the the mouth of the Liffey.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Port of Dublin.
Pool beg is the lighthouse. Good. And pass the kish for cross. Kish is
another lighthouse. Is another lighthouse in the entrance of the bay.
The basket too.
The basket is a reference to, that's Kish, yeah, a basket of crawfish.
Or for Christ's sake.
Or for Christ's sake, exactly. Amen, omen, Sosias. Grant Pupus is fallen down and Grinny springs the board. So that's like Linden Bridge is falling down.
And then there's also two more things. It's also pass the salt, pass whatever the dish is. But it's also Katie, bar the door and pass the ammunition.
There you go. What's that from, Peter?
It's some Americana lore of, you know, a homestead under attack. Either, I don't know if it's from a bear or neighbors.
Yeah.
Grampus is another word for whales. That's
a name for whales. Good.
Maybe a little foreshadowing of HCE's fall and Humpty Dumpty.
Yep. The whale's fallen down and Grinny sprins the board.
Sprids.
Was on the joint of a dish. What is the point of death?
Well, also the objective correlative while we're at the table here is it's a joint of meat, and what kind, you know, it's like the meat on the bone, the joint of the leg, and what is the fish or fowl that we're, you know, serving here.
Then he answers the question, fee fo fum the fush.
Fee fi fo fum.
Mm-hmm.
Another giant here.
That's
I smell the blood of an
Englishman.
Irishman? English?
English.
I'm Canadian.
Englishman. They're all a look-alike.
Fee fi fo fum. After he says that, he makes another question. Wasby bacon head. Now he answers it. A loaf of Sing Pantry Kennedy's bread.
St. Patrick.
St. Patrick.
Oh, yeah.
And now another question. What's hitched to the top of his tail? The top of his tail.
And maybe this tale of this book that we're reading.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the tail of the tub and the tail, another tail.
Tail of the tub again, yeah. And
yeah,
then,
because in line 2 we have tell a tale. Dead out. Dead dale. Tell a tale.
Of course, hops are used to brew beer and ale.
Yeah.
Right.
Now we got a glass of that old Dublin ale.
O'Connell Ale from Phoenix Brewery. There is a brewery around to fabricate good ale.
And
And
if we had one of our old members, Rory, his dad wrote a play at Finnegans Wake. He could usually sing every song. So that's a reference to Old Dublin ales and a reference to an old song, Dublin's Flowing Vale.
Yeah, but ale is ale, beer, no?
Yeah. But lo, as you would quaff off his fraud stuff, he would something his food stuff. What's quaff off?
To quaff
Quaff
is
is
to
a
drink.
Okay, to drink his food stuff and sink.
Fraud stuff.
It's like fraudulent food. So
Yeah.
It's imitation beer.
or drink, yeah.
Sink teeth through the pith. What's a pith?
The pith, the center part, the inner part.
Yeah.
The inner part of the flower white body.
That could be the head of a glass of beer, right? Because it's foamy. It's white, flower white body on
Good.
when you do draft.
Yeah. Behold of him his behemoth, for he is no emo.
Well, the body could also be the Christ thing.
Yeah.
Flower white is the hose.
Host thing.
Correct, yeah.
Pretty good, pretty good.
What's a bogey? Bogey.
Isn't that a something you're in your nose? What's that junk in your nose?
No,
that's a
two
booger.
B's. It's a
How
boogie.
about
It's a booger. A bogey.
A bogey is like
that's the Irish word for boogie.
Humphrey Bogart.
I
how
think
about
it's a
body? Flower white body.
It's like bogus.
Body.
Bogey is like
of the
something
Eucharist.
bogus.
Right, the body. But
It's in-
Roland McHugh is suggesting Bodie is bogey, Bogey.
And from OED, that's an evil or mischievous spirit.
Yeah, boogeyman.
Yeah. Or in sports, this is informal British.
Yeah.
It denotes an opponent that a team or a player often loses to, or a team where a venue where a team plays badly.
Right.
We saw the word bogey in I'm losing it. The movie about the fighter pilots.
Yeah, in World War II, yeah.
Yeah. The enemy is called
Yeah,
bogey.
bogeyed 11 o'clock.
Yeah. But it is funny. Flower white bogey, behold of him as his behemoth, for his noe moe.
Nowhere more.
Nowhere more?
Nowhere more.
Nowhere more no longer exists?
Yeah, I mean, didn't Bruce say that? It's except the body disappears, he is no emo.
There you go. Right, Bruce.
Gotta remember what Bruce writes. He knows everything.
He doesn't need to speak. He can type. Okay, Bruce, we miss you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Keep adding, Bruce. We love you. Okay, Peter.
Behemoth is mentioned in Job in the Hebrew Bible. And like Leviathan in later Jewish tradition, it's one of the anciently, these are like gods or creatures that are defeated by Yahweh. But it's also thought that in the afterlife, they would be the feast meat for the believers and the good people, that they would get to dine on the flesh of Leviathan and Behemoth.
Good.
In modern Hebrew, it means hippopotamus. And at the University of Pennsylvania, they got to a huge row over free speech when some Israeli student called a young black female student a behemoth.
And
Yes,
colloquially, doesn't behemoth just mean enormous,
Huge. Mhm.
immense?
Yeah.
Big
An
mother.
enormous creature.
Yeah, would be probably from that biblical
Mhm.
section.
But
So
not,
I'm
not
thinking people would call this book a behemoth.
It is a
Don't they
behemoth.
usually,
is.
doesn't it
It is.
usually apply to text too?
Yeah.
The size of the text?
It's called a
As a
door.
simile,
Okay, now we got the word finish, but it's spelled Finishi. Only a phadograph, that could be photograph, of Western scene.
A Western scene?
A Western scene, a
Oh, a
Western.
photograph of a Western scene.
Yeah.
Can I go
Why
back
has he got that in there? What does that mean? Why would we be talking about a photograph of a Western scene?
He liked Westerns.
Well, the
Well,
Rubicon
just
is
so
coming.
random.
The Rubicon is coming in the next bit.
a photograph of yesterday. Photograph
yes.
is yeah.
Maybe that. Yeah, that sounds more likely.
Yeah.
Heather, you're good for our group. We did this for 28 years, not bothering to ask why did he do that. We just say, oh yeah, that means that and that means this. Finally, it took us 28 years to try to put the puzzle pieces together.
I wish I'd been there for all 28 years.
So then we got, Roland McHugh says G-stern, G-E-S-T-E-R means yesterday. So yester scene. Almost Rubicon Salmasara. Okay, what's that? Salmon. Okay, there's one thing I have to tell you guys if you're not aware of it. I don't know how many years ago, but you can look it up. This guy wrote in the New York Times a huge article about how Finnegans Wake is all about salmon fishing, fly fishing. And he runs through this inventory that's just massive.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to just glance at the article, if not read the whole thing. I mean, to see someone try to decipher the wake in terms of there's a lot of references to fish, salmon, fly fishing. And here's one right there. So
And Salmo is the scientific name for salmon, Atlantic salmon.
Yeah.
I thought of Salome.
Solomon is also what's implied. Yeah. I mean, it's
Or Salome. Salome.
Yeah. In Heather's case, it's both and neither. That's the thing. Once you decide this
And
could be
Rubens.
that, it doesn't mean it is. That's sort of how Joyce is pulling the wool over our eyes. Or back to Richard Ellman, the greatest Joycean ever. We are still learning to be Joyce's contemporaries.
Yeah.
So what he's trying to do, I think, with that statement is say, we're trying to make Joyce's content our content. We're trying to be the content of his book by saying, well, we know that what he means there, but he's hidden it so deep that you can't really say what it means. You can guess. And that's why when I interview Joyceans, I go, how much percentage do you get the wake and how much percentage did Joyce get the wake? And people go, well, Joyce got 100%. No, sometimes people, no, he probably only got it 80 or 90%. Because maybe he was just winging it to trap us into spending time staring at it.
I think he was having a lot of fun.
He was,
right?
yeah.
And it's the same with Ulysses.
I'm suspicious too.
Yeah.
Nora complained that Joyce was keeping her awake at night, laughing so hard when he was writing the wake.
Yeah. And that's what Heather, there's a play called Nora and Jim that's going to be performed in Hollywood for 3 nights in June.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got to go see it because it's
cool.
this is the real deal. And you can read
Laura
all.
and Jim?
Yeah, I'll give you.
Okay, send it to me. Thank you.
Look, it's not until June, and we're doing a Bloomsday event at Beyond Baroque also. So you're invited to participate.
Thank you. I couldn't come to the last one at the library, but
But so then we got, that's it. It's multiple meanings. Salmon, ancient, Fromount, the ages of the, what is that?
Agape is
Feast.
unconditional love. It's God's love for man. Agape.
a love feast. The early
Uh,
Christians held a love feast in conjunction with the Lord's Supper.
It was love for God, not
Love
God's
for
love
God?
human. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was God's love for man. You're saying it's
As you've said.
love for God?
Tweet says it's the lover of female genitalia
Love the feast. Love feast.
with a monetus in there.
It's a made-up Greek word, apparently, that could theoretically mean sons of a loved one. So he makes up words in other languages too.
It does.
What's your source on that, Brandon?
That's Finnegans Web.
Good. So Agape is the church in LA where our friend leads the choir. You can hear great music, and Van Morrison came and sang with them once. So Stevie Wonder too. Agape. Okay, so that's a 19th religious community practicing. Okay, so now the next word.
So hang on, I was just looking this up in Britannica, and agape is both the fatherly love of God for humans as well as the human reciprocal love for God. So works both ways.
It works both ways. Okay,
That's
so
that source.
It sounds
Britannica?
great. It sounds great to me.
Sounds great.
The word also made me think, and it's also in was confirmed in Finnegans Web of Maimonides, the
Oh yeah,
philosopher. So I don't know if there's some tie in here to that.
well, we've got a bunch of Yiddish at the end of this paragraph, so maybe. I mean, I don't know if it's really Yiddish, but sure sounds like it. Schluck, Schleiss, and good red herring.
Well, one of our members used to take words and break it down into syllables.
Oh, he was insufferable that guy.
It would drive Peter all orso. And look at that ape. Ape could be a reference to Wyndham Lewis, Apes of Man. Mani Des. So
Monetus.
He is smolten in our midst. What's that?
Molten.
Somo. Smolt is somos. The somo is state of par. In the page number 3, we have old par, somo.
Smolt is also a stage in the salmon's life.
Yeah.
That's what Jesse was saying.
Par.
Yeah.
And this par is would be canned and packed away.
Huh.
We be gone. That's that
Canned
would be
and packed
canned.
away.
Salmon would be canned.
Canned and packed away.
We be
Yeah, packed
gone.
away.
Yeah. Garrison Keeler, that's who it is. It's we be gone. And packed away.
Oh, like woe be gone. Yeah.
Packed away so that meals dead off for Suman.
Somo.
I think those are all kind of fish. Suman, Schluck, Schleiss, and good red herring.
Herring is also
Good red herring. There you go.
Schlucken is swallow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schluck is Yiddish for shoddy person also.
And suman is salmon.
Schlumpf.
Okay, that we killed off that paragraph. Bravo. Now we're on to yet may we not see still the what?
Brontoichthyon.
Dinosaur.
Yeah, combination of thunder and fish.
Thunder.
Ichthus was also
Emily
simple
Bronte.
for Christ.
Or Charlotte Bronte.
Oh, Charlotte
Hold
Bronte.
on, Peter, you're on mute, but Jack and then Peter. Would you say Jack?
Peter, you're on mute.
The second half of that ichthus, the Greek word for fish, is also a symbol for Christ.
Christ, yeah. Go ahead, Peter. You're on mute though. Oh, I thought You're on mute, Peter. You're going to say something.
Maybe he's not talking to us.
Oh, he's not talking to us. That's like T.S. Eliot. When I talk to you, I got to use words. It's like, no, you don't. Read my lips. Okay, form outlined a
Oh,
slum.
in
Go ahead.
Latin, Bronto is the prefix for thunder.
Thunder.
So it'd be Bronto something or other. But if you see that, it means thunder.
Yeah, and in Roland McHugh says in German, Bronto means thunder also.
Thunder's a
Yeah.
recurring
Lines
theme
down.
in the book.
Bronto loved and Brunto. 2 lines down, Bronto again.
Yeah.
And
Well, then-
ictus,
Bruno.
because there is ictus is a fish. Bronto, ictus,
Yeah.
is fish. Fish in
Greek.
Greek. Yeah.
So now you got the possessive. Even in our own nighttime, by the sledge of the trout stream that Bronto,
Trout, the fish, trout.
the trout loved, that Bronto loved, and Brunto has a lean on. So
Bruno.
Bruno was a huge influence on
Yeah.
Joyce. But who's Bronto? Oh, that's
That is Vico. I don't know how. Vico and Bruno.
Vico and Bruno, yeah. Now you got Latin. Hic cuba edlius. What's that?
HC. HC.
HCE.
HCE, yeah.
And ALP, the next one.
And ALP, but the Latin means here sleeps the magistrate with the little freed girl.
Right.
No.
What are you laughing about, Jack?
Because it's Fimaku and OP and ELP.
What if she be in flags or flitters? Oh, in an apron.
What if?
A flag is an apron. What if she be in an apron? Now we got some.
Reeky rags.
That's French for rigorous exactitude. Rick-a-rack. Or sundry. Anybody on those two words? Ricky rags or sundry echoes?
Sunday chosies, right?
Sunday
clothes, Sunday clothes, right?
Sunday clothes. There you go.
It shows is things in French.
You know, in the Finnegans Web says Ragnarok. Ricky Rags is a reference to Ragnarok, which is Old Norse. In Scandinavian mythology, the fate of the gods, the end of the world. Is there a Wagnerian reference there, I wonder?
Yeah, well,
probably.
Tamara knows a great Wagnerian.
No. I love Wagner. Doesn't mean I know a lot about it.
No, I mean you know the guy who wrote that book. You should ask him.
Oh, okay. And I can actually ask quite a few people, but which did you think was the Wagnerian reference?
The Riki Rags. It may be a reference to ancient Norse mythology.
Yeah, I certainly could talk to him. And Bill,
yeah.
see what he says. You're going to be interviewing him, Jerry.
I know.
You could ask him on the air, or
We'll ask him if I can remember that. What if? Oh no, with a mint a mines or beggar a pennyweight.
So what is a pennyweight? A pennyweight is, I mean, literally probably the weight of a penny, but what does it mean colloquially? I think it's a British expression, but I don't really know, what a pennyweight is, what you would use it for.
Well, measurement of nails, huh? 10-penny nail?
Of nails?
Maybe.
Yeah.
So then we've got another reference to Christ.
There you go. Very
That's very
subtle. That's really subtle.
Completely untrue, but worth a shot.
Pennyweight. A beggar Beggar a pennyweight. Wow.
I mean, even a mint of mines.
Well, that's the one that I'm stuck at. A mint of mines or beggar a pennyweight.
Well, you know, when I saw flags or flitters, I was thinking of rags to riches.
Yeah.
And then here you're talking about, you know, a mint of mines. So that's a lot of money or something versus beggar a pennyweight. So it still sounds like comparing rich to poor.
It is. That's it.
Or haves or have-nots.
Yeah, a mint of mines, like mines, mining gold. So yeah, and I also said, you know, about penny whistles, which play a big part in Irish music. Now they cost 10,000 pennies. Okay, now we got to sure, we all love little Annie Rooney. Now, it could be, it's not Mickey Rooney. What year is Mickey Rooney making films started?
Or Andy Rooney.
Well, I remember reading as a kid, Little Annie Rooney poem.
Oh, you.
Oh,
yeah.
What is it? A comic?
Cartoons. Yeah.
It's a song.
It's a comic, a kid's comic.
I don't know. I was in the Bronx when I read it, for Christ's sake.
Joseph, I grew up in the Bronx
For
also.
Christ's sake.
What parish?
Hey, you
St.
guys
Simon's
both
Dock.
grew up in the Bronx.
Really? St. Simon? That's my parish.
No, isn't it? Is it really?
Yeah. I lived right across the street from the convent at 2247 Ryer Avenue.
181st Street and Valentine Avenue.
Holy cow.
Holy camole.
For 5
When was
years.
the last time you were there?
Yeah, a long time.
Well, I only went up to the Bronx when I lived in Brooklyn. I'd only go up to Bronx to attend the funerals of dead Jesuits at Fordham.
I went to Fordham College in law school.
What year did you graduate?
Oh, Jesus. Now that's getting embarrassing. 63 from high school and 67 from college,
Oh,
and 70
well,
from law school.
I graduated
Great, so
from Regis in 61.
You graduated from what?
Regis in 61.
Did you really? Ah, you couldn't get into Fordham Prep, huh?
Wasn't good enough.
That's an old joke. Peter, what you got?
Well, so Jack, you were there at Fordham in 66?
I graduated from the college in 67 and the law school. In
Right.
70.
So 66 was Donald Trump's freshman year at Fordham.
I didn't know him.
He never talks about it.
He
got
was
into
a classmate.
Fordham,
He was a classmate
and
of mine for a year or two, and he went to Penn.
Wow.
Yeah, I never met the guy, but I knew
Did
people
he
that knew
really
him.
even go to school though?
You still know the people who know him?
I knew people. He played tennis or squash.
We rejected his child at our school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait a
He
minute.
he
Which
wanted
one?
to Baron.
Baron.
He
Oh,
wanted to
Baron.
come to. I teach at collegiate, and he wanted to come to collegiate. But the funny story is that our head of security, Trump came in, and our head of security said, "You can't come in without an ID." And he said, "I don't have one." And he said, "You have to let me in. I'm Donald Trump." And he's like, you know, our poor security guard was like, "Well, then you're not getting in." And so Melania had to totter out in her Milano Blahniks to the limo driver to get her
Melania
ID and come
Blahniks.
back. And then we rejected him. So
Was Baron too tall?
I
That's
feel
a big
sorry
history.
for Baron.
Yeah.
I think he's
he's dumb.
brilliant.
He's a little dumb.
He might be dumb,
say
but I
he's
mean, look at
brilliant,
what he's
though.
got on his shoulder. Anyway, that's God.
No politics, guys. No religion.
Yeah,
no
you're
politics,
right. You are
please.
According to
correct.
face reading,
I'd love
he's
to
like,
see what Joyce would write about Trump.
Well, Trump's all over the wake. You can Google it. Peter Quadrino wrote a whole thing, but it's also Fordham's got a lot of history because that's where Neil Postman kind of learned McLuhan and didn't become a Finneganese McLuhanite.
Yeah, McLuhan was a visitor.
Lana Del Rey, the big rock star, she studied at Fordham.
Yep.
And if you read her Wikipedia, it sounds like she was studying media ecology. You know, some of the themes of her she's sort of like a Leonard Cohen wannabe.
You know, Joyce, of course, was Jesuit educated. People asked him, and he said, "I'm not Catholic, I'm Jesuit."
Yeah.
Which I love that quote. Joseph, you could appreciate that.
Yeah. No monkey on my back. Also, Edgar
she
Allan
actually
Poe.
sang at Leonard's funeral. Lana Del Rey.
Oh, did she?
Which-
Okay, what,
Leonard.
Joseph, what were you going to say?
Edgar Allan Poe, when he lived up in Poe Cottage on the Grand Concourse and whatever the hell the name of that road is. He used to go to
Kingsbridge.
Yeah, Kingsbridge Road. He used to go up to the Jesuits in Rose Hill and chat with them.
Well, here's the Jesuits who founded Fordham were French. They were from Kentucky, and he would go down to the university to speak with them in French because he wanted to keep his French fluency up. That's why he was visiting.
Was he a practicing Catholic as well? Or
Oh, no.
I don't think so. No,
No.
no.
Talking about Edgar Allan Poe? You
Yeah.
think?
Yeah.
I was told that the Jesuits carefully avoided religion.
They do. That's what I love about the Jesuits. They're not Catholic. They're Jesuit. That's what Joyce said, essentially.
They carefully avoided religion. That's a good line. Is that a joke, Joseph?
No.
No, that's
They have to get you in, with the organ music and before they get you, By the way, have you heard of Saint Ignatius Loyola? No, that's.
he was a friend of mine.
I had 8 years of Jesuits.
I had a lot more than that, actually.
Okay, now
Are you guys okay because of that?
What I loved about it is they didn't force feed religion on you. And when I was 16, I publicly renounced Catholicism. Well, it didn't make my parents real happy. But that's what I loved about the Jesuits. Either you convince yourself or it wasn't right for you. It's very simple as that.
Well, Fidel Castro went to a Jesuit liceo. And who are those people?
Fidel Castro, yeah.
Yeah, and Marcus de Sade and Robespierre went to the same lycée.
That explains.
Marquis de Sade? You mean Marquis de Sade?
Marquis de Sade.
Wow.
Yeah. And Robespierre went to the same Jesuit.
Did he really?
Lycée, yeah.
I have to read up on these Jesuits.
Yeah.
Turns out I know nothing.
Well,
about them.
that's a big part of Joyce, but like Louis Buñuel said, thank God I'm an atheist.
A lot of casuistry in this book, it seems like.
Casuistry, yeah. Jesuitical. That's a great word, to be Jesuitical.
Okay, now we're on after Pennyweight. We all love little Annie Rooney, and we mean to say love little Annie Rainey under her umbrella. Mid piddle, mid puddle, she nanny goes, dancing by. Okay, anybody on any of that?
It's ruin and rainy. And then there's puddles. Something's being kind of ruined.
It's raining. They use the umbrella.
Rainy, like raining. Is
Yeah,
that
It's raining, so they need the umbrella.
Little Annie Rooney is a song, yeah.
But here's the Finnegans Wiki. Rainy, the reference is torrential rain in the morning delayed the Battle of Waterloo. And of course, Waterloo plays later on, ensuring Napoleon's defeat. Like Richard Wagner's operatic tetralogy, The Ring of the Nibelung, Finnegans Wake ends with a flood, which not only accounts for the allusions to Noah's rainbow in the opening chapter, but also explains why the ground is still wet the following morning.
Wow.
I didn't make none of that up.
I don't get the ring reference at all in there.
Well, I don't know. They're saying because the ring cycle ends with a flood.
Well, I guess it depends where you see it.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Right, because it could be fire, or explosions, or all sorts of things. And I actually don't know what he wrote in his notes. What he wanted. But I don't think I've ever seen a cycle that ended with a flood.
Be hard to produce on stage. Yeah.
Yes. Huh. That's interesting.
Then
Bruce has a good comment here, by the way.
Oh, Rain is the younger version of ALP. And this book begins with a flooded landscape. Wow. Really good. There you go.
Well done.
Umbrella, because then you got under wave, umbrella. Now there's a line from Ulysses here.
Yeah. Nanny goes. Ben, in the poets, they were when she say yes, yes, yes.
In Penelope.
End of Ulysses, the yes, yes, you mean?
No, but it's
Molly blooms.
They are the rhododendrons, and there is a goat there making dropping.
Yeah.
Many
What
goats.
is it? Dropping currents. That's really cute.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's upon Ben Heather. So
Is
it's
goats.
on
It's
Ben
both head.
Heather.
Yeah.
Goat's head.
In sepal isoet 2.
Chapelizoid.
Chapelizoid. There you go. There's Peter. You brought that up. Chapelizoid. Good.
Because his head is in Holtz and his feet is in Chapelizoid.
The cranic head on him, caster of his reasons.
The granite head of the
Yeah,
hill.
granite head. Great. Granite head, caster of his reasons.
Granite gets you right back to rockbound, by the way, the first word on the page.
Yep.
And I think Izout or Izut is a reference to Izot Chustan.
And he's
older.
Yeah.
Izod, because it's Chapelizod. Chapel Izod.
Does cranic also contain cranium?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Very good. The cranium. And then you got yond mist, meaning yond most. Huth with a question.
That's Hoth again.
Yeah.
Holtz again, yeah.
His clay feet swarmed in verdigras, stick up stark.
Is describing his body, the giant body in the city. And his feet are close to the magazine wall. Magazine wall is a fortress in the side of Phoenix Park. And Maggie is the girl, sister. So we have, I think we have the 2 girls and three soldiers again.
You know, could this be a Swiftian restaurant reference? Starting at the beginning of the chapter with his, Brontoichthian form. He's because he's huge, to the people who captured him, and his clay feet sounds like they're bound in verdigras. I don't know, I thought of verdigris, but it just sounds like a reference to Gulliver. And
Gulliver's Travel.
Like Gulliver, like the giant Gulliver.
Yes, right.
Yeah, it's definitely this whole thing of what McLuhan learned from Wake is that humans extend their humanness. And it's a flip of biomimicry. Because we didn't invent mirrors. We saw our faces in water. And then we go, well, how can we turn this thing that exists in nature into something that we made? So we made mirrors imitating nature. And so it's like the guy who invented Velcro, he found these plants that actually did Velcro. And then he goes, well, I can make this with plastic. So that's the flip of extending your body with your inventions is biomimicry. And so it works both ways. So Joyce is saying, well, I'm going to just have my characters in my book be part of the landscape and be a river and be a mountain and be a, this part of nature and that part of nature. The mound.
That's also the philosophy of many ancient medicines, like Chinese medicine. It's like the whole body is a microcosm of the universe. The rivers, there's rivers and mountains, and your eye is a microcosm. Your finger,
is that
your feet.
homeopathy?
No, traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh, okay. Huh.
But
That's
as Bruce said, we are in the end of the overture of the book. Now
Right.
starts the Wellington, the Battle of Waterloo, the next page. So
now we're going to go into the Willingdon Museum room on the next page. Yeah. Yeah, that's good, Decio. Thank you. So let's finish this up. His clay feet sword and Finnegans stick by the mud of the magazine wall. So that's the wall that Humpty Dumpty.
no, there is a fortress in the end of the park where are supposed to be his feet. A fortress, magazine wall.
It's an arsenal.
Arsenal, like an arsenal, yeah, for magazine.
These last few lines seem very Scottish to me. I don't know. I see bagpipes and
yeah,
tattooed.
Terrebonne, Terrebonne, yeah.
Terrebonne, Terrebonne, very good. And then where all, and Bruce had nothing. Joyce once characterized the wake as the dream of old Finn lying beside the Liffey. Good.
Okay, that's the page in a sentence. I mean, this page in a sentence.
That's it.
Did you say old fish, Cherry? Did you say old fish?
Old Finn, Finn.
Oh.
And then we got where our Maggie seen all. So that's a echo of magazine. Maggie seen all with her sisterine shawl. What's sisterin?
Sistine Chapel.
The, something that holds water, a big, huge water holding thing.
Cistern.
A cistern.
But also for Irish women.
Yeah, a sister in shawl.
Oh, to put around the neck.
A sister in shawl, yeah. What did you say, Heather?
Oh, it just says it's the garb of a poor Irish woman. That's what they wear.
Oh, okay. And what source are you using?
I am using finnegansweb.com.
Good. Okay, so then while over against the Bell's Alliance beyond ill 60.
Belle Alliance is the Waterloo. Waterloo, the Prussians used it to call the Waterloo La Belle Alliance because it was the alliance between the Prussians and the Russians and the English against Napoleon.
So there you go, La Bella Alliance.
Getting back to sister and shawl, isn't that it's the washerwomen who see everything. We're talking about Maggie seen all. The washerwomen, that's what they wear, those shawls, and they know everything that's going on. They've seen it all.
Yep. Tomorrow you'll love this. You know how you live longer? You gossip and you worry. That's what the women in the town square, they just sit there and worry about everybody and gossip about everybody. And that's why
I live to 102.
They live so long, And Peter just got reconnected to one of our members. She's 104 years old.
Wow.
Holy moly. Is that what Finnegans Wake does to you?
Well, no, I asked her once, how do you stay, how do you explain your longevity? And Selma said her and her husband do yoga every day. And I goes, what, like with a class? She goes, no, with an audio cassette.
Oh my God, a cassette. I love it.
The audio cassette, they did yoga every day. And I mean,
I love it.
And then she said he lived till he was about 95. And she said, how did he stay alive so long? She goes, he quit eating salt 20 years ago. So
I don't know.
Smoked a pack of cigarettes a day.
I agree with the yoga part, but I'm not giving up potato chips.
I'm with you. Giving up salt.
That's good. I'm not giving up potato chips.
Crisps.
Crisps. Straight.
Okay, so now we're down to Ololauil.
Because there is two hills. The hill is number 60, and the Olo hill is another hill in the Waterloo.
So it's more landscape. All Hallowed Hill.
Oh.
Mhm.
Bag sides of the fort. There's Tamar, that's almost your name. See, you can, everybody can find their name in it. So now you got Tara Boom. Lurk the ambushes. The ambushes. But what's the verb there? Lurk the ambushes. What's lurk?
Hide, lie in wait.
Lie in wait, yeah. And maybe whoever is, witnessing HCE doing whatever he's doing or whatever he isn't doing in the park with the girls.
Yeah.
And Tara is the old capital of Ireland.
Yeah, the Tara,
Oh,
hill of Tara,
Tara.
the hill
Yeah,
of Tara.
hill of
The
Tara.
ancient the ancient kings were crowned on the hill of Tara.
Ancient capital of Ireland.
Beautiful up there.
Great to see you.
Oh, and here's Bruce. Issy, HC's daughter, has a mirror image friend named Maggie.
Oh, yeah.
The Maggies are the 28 girls, the 28 friends of Isil. The Maggies, no?
Yep.
And another important essay to read is Narcissism as Narcosis in Understanding Media by McLuhan, because he reinterprets the narcissism story. And the guy doesn't fall in love with an image, Narcissus. He doesn't fall in love with the picture of himself or reflection of himself. He falls in love with the invention of the mirror. So we fall in love with all our inventions. I mean, just look at how people use a cell phone as a mirror now.
Oh.
And so it's not a good or bad thing. It's just how we are shaped, how our behavior is shaped by our inventions.
Well, they also use it like a light. I'm
Wait,
sorry.
two people at once, one at a time. Go ahead, Janice, and then Jack.
I was just gonna say, I don't have one, but they use them for lights.
Yeah, they use it for a flashlight. Yeah.
And then
go ahead. Yeah.
Talking about the inventions, that's Icarus and Daedalus. And of course, we've got Daedalus rampaging through the Ulysses.
Yeah. Very good.
There's also this thing called the IKEA effect, which is anytime you build or do something yourself, you love it more than if you just bought it. So it's a reflection.
IKEA effect.
Yeah, that's why you can build your chair from IKEA and you will love that chair more than if you went to a store and bought it.
Well, the flip side of that, my girlfriend and I put together an IKEA dresser, and we took 2 days and we didn't wind up at each other's throats, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
But
Well, they're just hoping that the other thing
Heather, you just described the Wake, because you can't buy Cliff Notes for the Wake. You can buy a bunch of books that try to explain it, but basically Joyce is saying the book itself is the Cliff Notes. So you put together the Wake, and what McLuhan called it is the user is the content.
I love that.
So that's what we make the Wake. He didn't make the Wake. We're co-creators, because he put the black ink on the paper, but we kind of put the meaning to it. That's T.S. Eliot.
So once again, it's always about us.
Yeah, it is.
Everything is us.
Yeah, it's called The Wizard. Here's the big one tomorrow. The Wizard of Us.
Oh, there you go.
The Wizard of Us. I just learned this today, a new one. Okay, The Wizard of Us is Dorothy has to go get the broom. The broom is advertising. It's the writing utensil, the sky writing. So advertising is, out of symbolist poetry, is create the disease and offer the cure. So what does Dorothy do? She gets the broom and she has to take it to the wizard. And what happens is when she gets there, the dog, Toto, pulls the curtain back and reveals the wizard. So that's the emperor's wearing no clothes. He goes, hey, Pay no attention to that guy behind that curtain. That's who's controlling you. And so the dog Toto is the artist. Artists pull the curtain back and reveal what's happening. That's what
The
Joyce.
dog is actually God.
That's good because here's what
that's right.
Here's what the guy taught me today. And what does the movie start with? The Wicked Witch wants to kill the dog.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Little dog too. So they want to get rid of the artist. They don't want you to pay attention to the artist. They want you to turn it into fluff and entertainment, so that you're not paying attention. You're just lapping it up like a lapdog.
Isn't that great? Jerry, when I was in college, I dated a girl who was the niece of Margaret Hamilton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of my only claims to fame.
That's it's a great claim to fame. And they had to do a lot of prosthetics, right? Her nose because she was actually quite a good looking woman, wasn't she?
She was a big stage actress. I didn't know that in New York.
That was the Wicked Witch for those, you know.
Margaret Hamilton.
In Wizard of Oz. That's a great claim to fame, Jack.
It is.
Okay, so the site of the lithium.
What is Olo load? Oyo is a pot, right? Or Oya is a pot. But I don't get that word.
All Hallowed Hall. It could be All Hallowed Hall. Is what McHugh suggests.
What line?
And what is that? The
third from the bottom
place where they're having the wake is the All
33,
Hall.
Yeah.
Sorry. Peter, what did you say?
Janice was asking the line. The line was 33.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. All Hallowed Hill. It's just more landscape, I guess. The site of the Lithian Wake of the Upjock and Hockums. Hokum is
Hookum's nonsense.
Nonsense, right.
Hokum,
Very good.
Yeah.
Of the Upjock and Hokum. Hence, when the clouds roll by, Jamie, when the clouds roll by, Jenny, that's a song. A cloud's eye view is a bird's eye view.
But in line 32, we have Maggie and sister. These are two girls. And line 35 and Upjock and Hockdam is Upgards and Adam. Is a
Say it again. Issue Upguards and what was the last word?
Upguards at them is attack. They are attacking the soldiers.
Oh, well, that has to do with the ambushes then, the ambushes.
Yeah.
So we have the two girls and the three soldiers. The recurring thinking Finnegans Wake.
And according to Finnegans Wiki, Upgards and Adam, words allegedly spoken by the Duke of Wellington at the Battle of Waterloo.
Oh.
Upguards and at them.
And Bruce has something to say about
because we have the Battle of Waterloo in the next page.
Yeah, Bruce got a couple great things there.
That's
but the mirror image is a reversal. Shem and Sean are mirror images.
Good.
You can break up who's Shem and who's Sean throughout the book, but it's incredible how it flips back and forth. And Joyce toured the Waterloo battlefield, and some of the locations he visited are described here and in the Musée Room section coming up. So in April, the day after April Fool's Day, and if the fool persists in his folly, he becomes wise. So we'll see you all in April on the 2nd. But before we close out today, we'll have 3 women read this page. So why don't we have Heather, you read the first third, and then Denise, you read the second third, and then Tamara, you read the last third. So go like rock bound to a glass, and then a glass to penny white, and then penny white to the end.
Okay, I'm getting nervous here.
Okay, don't get nervous. And everybody, this is a good chance to really look at the words as they're mispronunciated.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
everybody wants to know, well, how do you pronounce it? Well, that's up to the person who's reading it. So it makes you, the listener, more aware of the word than you're pronouncing it in your own mind's eye or your own mind's ear, I should say.
Yeah.
I just want to know one thing before we start is how did it get from all this food stuff to all the battle stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question, Bruce. How to get from food stuff to battle stuff. But you can
Next
just,
page. Next page.
well, the music room, yeah, is probably going to answer your question, Janice. But you can just see Bruce's fingers typing away. See, because what we are dealing with is a medium that entails your eye. A book means you use your eye. But when you use your eye to read Finnegans Wake, you turn your eye into an ear because it's hearing it at the same time you're seeing it. So you generally don't read a book out loud. Some people can, and they do it, but it's almost like you're required by Joyce to read the book out loud and look at the text, which is one reason I have a bias towards the Wake, and we do have a Ulysses reading club that Duncan hosts so beautifully once a month, and you don't really have to look at Ulysses when it's read aloud. You can, and it helps, but the Wake you have to look at the text. So we didn't get an answer to your question, Janice. We'll just have to hold on and come back next month and you'll get your answer. So you ready? We're going to have Heather, then
Yes.
Denise, and then Tamar. Go ahead.
Rockbound, hoa, 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 in swim, swam, swum, and all the living long night, the dale, doubling night, the night of the bluery bells. Her flit a flute in tricky tricky. O Karina, wake him. With her Isavans and her patter Jack Martins about all them ins and ouses, tilling a teal of a tum, telling a toll of a teary, turty taubling, grace before glutton, for what we are, gifts are gross if we are about to believe. So pool the beg and pass the kish for cross sake, O men, O so sias. Grampupus is fallen down, but Grinny spreads the board. Wace on the joint of a dish? Fin fo fum the fush. Waspy bacon head. A loaf of Sing Pantry's Kennedy bread. And was hitched to the hop in his tail.
A glass of Danu O'Donnell's famous oldie Dublin ale. But lo, as you would quaff off his fraud stuff and sink teeth through that pipe of a flower-white bodie, behold of him as behemoth, for he is no emo, finish, only a photograph of a yestern scene, almost Rubicon's Salmasalar, ancient Fromont, the ages of the agape Munids. He is smolten in our midst, woe-becaned and packed away. So that meal's dead off for summon, schluck, schleiss, and good rid hearing. Yet may we not see still the Brontokian form outlined aslumbered, even in our own nighttime by the sedge of the troutling stream that Bronto loved and Brunto has a lead on. Hic cubat edilis, apud libertanum parluvam. What if she be in flags or flitters, reeky rags or Sunday chosies, with a mint of minds or beggar,
Penny wait. Arrah, sure, we all love little Annie Rooney. Or we mean to say love little Andy Rainey. When under her brella, mid piddle, mid puddle, she nanny goes, nancing by. Yo. Brontelope slaps, Yo snores. Upon Ben Heather, and Sepal is out too. The crannock head on him, caster of his reasons, Peer Euthner and Jan mist. Hooth? His clay feet, swarded in vertigrass, stick up stark where he last fallown 'em, by the mund of the magazine wall, where our Maggie seen all, with her sister and shawl. While over against this Bell's Alliance, behind Eel 60, Ololode ill, backsides of the fort, boom, tara boom, lurk the ambushes, the sight of the lipping and weight of the upjock and Huckums. Hence, when the clouds roll by, Jamie, a proud's eye view is.
Well done.
Thank you all so much for coming. This really makes my day. I really appreciate it. Go ahead, Jack. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll see you all in April, and we have many other events coming up. You can go to laughtears.com, and there's all kinds of other reading clubs that Duncan hosts, and Carl Young every Monday night's amazing reading group. And
My friend Michael Novick says hello, Jerry.
oh, Michael Novick is what an amazing human being.
Yeah, he was part of my meditation group. I met him. I was saying, "Oh yeah, I'm in that." He goes, "I know, Jerry."
Beautiful. Well, again, like I said, Bloomsday at Beyond Baroque from 6 to 9, and during the day on Bloomsday is the Nora and Jim play in Hollywood at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And we have the Venice Beach Show, learn how Jack Kerouac's connected with Finnegans Wake, and that's April 14th at Venice West.
Oh,
And
Jerry, can you send that, a round robin email?
yep, it's all on laughtears.com, but I'll be sending out emails. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And
Thanks. Bye.
thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for welcoming me.
Penny. Penny. Did you unmute? Unmute yourself. You asked for my email. You never sent me anything. So send me whatever you were gonna send me. I can't hear you. You're muted. I still can't hear you. You're muted.
Okay, there I am. So everybody went away. I just fell asleep and they all disappeared, huh?
Yep. But you were gonna email me.
Yes, well, it was the substance of something which I would want to give you. I wouldn't, it's just something he thought you might like that I had some.
Oh, okay, got it. I got it.
Got
okay.
it.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe, yeah, sounds good, but when my
Sometime-
son, only when my son comes to visit would be not till like June.
Oh dear. Well, that's too long, too long. But maybe I'll run into you sometime. It might be fun. We'll see.
Oh,
dear.
yeah.
Yeah. You're in
right.
Venice? You are in Venice?
Yeah.
You live in,
Yeah. Oh, that would be great. Yeah, I'm so glad to know.
why not? Yeah.
Okay, well, now I got your email.
And I've got yours, and maybe we'll
Yeah.
time I think of it, I will email you when it slides by my mind.
All right. Well, thank you so
Here.
much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Okay.
Thank
bye-
you. So they just quit right now. I guess oh dear,
Yeah.
how obvious that I
It's-
fell asleep.
Yeah, you could just leave.
Is everybody else left too? I mean,
Looks that way. Okay, bye-bye.
bye. Oh dear. Bye. Okay, bye.
Bye.